So the biggest question that I get asked all the time is, what makes church broadcasting different? And this is something that I'd like to cover in this section. Budget being number one. It doesn't matter if you have a small church, medium-sized church, large church, a mega church. It really doesn't matter, because budget is key when determining what type of broadcast that you're going to do. A lot of people don't take into consideration budget when thinking about doing HD or even standard definition. They just say, listen, we want to do a broadcast. What's it going to cost? And if you don't have the budget for it, you're not going to be able to accommodate exactly what you want to do. The second thing that I have is location. Some churches are in rural areas where internet speeds are less than desirable. So a lot of times folks, what they'll do is they'll say, well, we want to stream in HD, but we can't exactly do that because of the rural area that we're in. They might be still on dial-up or a very low DSL line. Location plays a big role in what you can and cannot do as far as broadcasting in a church. The next point, building structure. I've dealt with a lot of people over the years that have solid metal framing inside their church. Maybe they built their church within a old factory or a warehouse. Having metal walls, metal ceilings are really going to put a damper on any kind of Wi-Fi connection inside of the building and connecting to the outside world as far as running a broadcast. Now, I always recommend hardwire, of course, but a lot of churches, well, that's very expensive for them to be running wires. So that's something to take into consideration. Congregation, participation. A lot of churches, what they'll do is they'll use different members of the congregation, youth kids, to run cameras. Some congregations, they're a small church, they don't have that. So that's going to determine what and how many cameras that they use. Some churches that don't have people that want to man cameras will use IP cameras. So that's a big role when it comes to congregation. Bandwidth. This is going to be a huge role when it comes to budget as well, because bandwidth plays a huge factor in standard definition, HD. It really doesn't matter. And if you don't have the budget for the bandwidth that you're needing, and I'm not just talking about to be able to broadcast, but also the bandwidth to upload the sermons and services when you're done. There are different services out there, CDN type services, that will allow you to store your data or your files. But bandwidth plays a big role, and that's something to take into consideration.